Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I hope you had a couple of minutes to process just what happened there. Covey, I know that you seemed a little shocked and lost for words, so I'm going to put you on the spot real quickly to sum up what just happened in that last game.
Ooh, okay. Well, the Last Dance was playing a scaling poke comp. They started the Baron at 22 minutes, because why not? And they got destroyed for it. Then, Supernova take the Baron. They go fight the dragon, because, you know, you have to fight the dragon. They screw up the fight, because they don't find the snap engage. They get poked out, and they bleed out. And then they lose the game. And NXI won Legendary. That was game one. Air Jordan.
Air Jordan. Air Jordan.
Yeah,
We're on board with that. Checks out.
I was ready for like a 35-minute game after we saw that Baron pickup for Supernova, but they just decided to get aced at the Dragon 2 minutes later. And so now we're here in the Rally Cry halftime show.
Somewhere, I feel like, you know, Team Fish Taco were watching that game, you know, maybe like rubbing their hands together, like behind a tree, like, you know, just waiting for them. I feel like that's how that game went still. I haven't seen enough from these teams to think they're going to make it out still. I want to see some more. But hey, was some guts from the Last Dance. We'll give them that.
Yeah, the little unpredictability in the games, but as is life. So we're going to try and get a couple of answers to that in our Rally Cry halftime show and bring out our infamous tarot cards.
Ooh. No.
So I will...
Are we going to be spelling the team's doom with these drawings here?
No, because I took out the death card. So there will be no doom.
Nice.
So how this is going to work is I have a really expensive, really nice deck of tarot cards that I picked up, super legitimate, and I am, you know, I'm going to be shuffling them while one of you poses a question, and then the other one is going to be forced to answer. So it could be about a player, it could be about a team. Looking forward into our next game, next two games, they're run through the promotion tournament, anything of the sort. So talk about a player, kind of like, all right, well, NXI went Legendary in this game. What is NXI's future going to be for the rest of the promotion tournament? And then the other caster is going to be forced to answer.
So this is
Cards are handmade. That's how legit they
handmade.
are.
Yeah.
That's how legit they are.
No, they're
straight from the soul.
Not for me though, because I
of course not.
a lot of money on these. Yeah, no,
But
these
you
are
know, yeah, you found a cool shop. That's how legit they are. That's cool.
Are we all on the same page here?
Yeah, let's do it.
How this is gonna go down? All right, who wants to ask the first question? Who wants to do the first reading?
Grapes, you go first, my friend.
So I'm gonna ask a question, not a yes/no, but like a more
open-ended. Ask about their future. Ask about their love prospect. Maybe don't do that one. What they got going on for the tournament in these games.
All right. So, I'm thinking right now. My question gonna go towards the jungler for Supernova, Kisno. Got invaded a little bit off of that first rotation, and of course caught out for that first blood around mid lane. What does Kisno have to do differently to make sure that, you know, things go Supernova's way this time around?
All right, and now Covey is going to answer with these two cards.
Well, it's an easy one.
Stop what the last strategy was and roll the dice, baby. It's time for some coin flips. That's how we're interpreting that.
All right, go a little bit deeper when we're looking into the game. What do you, if that's the advice, that's everything you want to be giving him, what do you want to then see with that stop what you're doing? Roll the dice.
Honestly, I thought the Wukong was played all right that game. I think Kisno's sneaking bot for that bot gank was really strong and actually gave Supernova a bit of momentum in that mid game. I think for me with Kisno, it's just, I want to see Supernova set up the map a little bit better for level 1. I think that NXI, like, they straight up saw him walk over and take the Gromp. They didn't have the bot lane prio for that, but Kisno wasn't able to respond and actually like, go into the top side jungle of NXI. So maybe Kisno being a little bit more comfortable with like being in that scenario, that could be one, or else Supernova maybe set up the map a little bit better to make sure that Kisno isn't in that scenario, a little bit more of standard clear, because NXI has that big experience advantage over him. So it could be a better scenario for Supernova.
So it's not, you want to stop rolling the dice around Vision and make sure that Supernova know for certain where NXI is going to head in the first clear.
Sure, that could be your interpretation, you know? That's the fun of these.
Yeah, it's all interpretive, which is fantastic. So the way that some people might read the cards might be different for others. So I love both answers on that one.
My questions, it's gonna be a little bit of a couple layers here. So I was talking, during my VOD review streams with some of the members of Tony Top who did make it out, starting to tease them about, prepping pitch decks and getting their players to tweet and stream more as they need to find a sponsor. Yes. So the Last Dance, this next tarot card reading, I want 3 cards here, Sierra. And this is going to be about whether or not they find a sponsor. Now, they have to win out and, qualify to find a sponsor. But I feel like I want some clues of what that org or sponsor could be. It's exciting.
All right. So we're going to do the 2 first. These are the ones straight from the deck.
Okay.
And then this 3rd card, I don't really know how tarot card readings are. I mean, I am a professional, but not that much.
Hash
but
and flower.
I dropped this 3rd card while I was shuffling. So I think that there is an additional omen to that.
Grapes, if the cat gets pulled out here, that has to mean it stays an amateur team. That's an iconic amateur team logo is anything cat involved. That's not good for spawn. That's not good. Not a good sign.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just say it's not good.
Oh, it's not a good sign
and
at all.
And I dropped it, so that's...
Bring back Zeus.
Yeah, those old teams. Zeus gave... There was a team in the qualifiers, this split, named Zuby's Kittens, named after Colomer's cat. The thing is that Colomer was not affiliated with the team whatsoever. They just stole the name of the cat and made that the team. So we're still doing cat things down there in the qualifiers. But okay, so
we don't even have lawyers to sue. What is this?
I don't know. It was just kind of the team ended up dropping. So maybe there was some
that's what they
affiliation involved in there.
Can't steal cats' likenesses. Come on.
All right. We're going back to the questions. We're going back to the cards because I'm starting to get confused.
We're looking
at least the Lorem owns Zeus. We're just gonna say that. Moving forward.
We're looking at Cash. We're looking at Flower. Have you seen that all those pictures that Aaron posts on Twitter where he just has the money with the phone? So it's gonna be something around that. He spreads the bills like this, kind of like a flower. So and maybe the Last Dance sponsor is gonna get some cash offer to them, but instead they will opt out of it and go for that logo named after a cat instead.
Maybe it'll be a cat with a flower in its hair spreading the bills like Aaron does, and then that's... I feel like that wouldn't be a big money sponsor coming in, so I feel like this is a bad omen here.
So that means that they're going to get relegated and have to play through the qualifiers.
I mean, again. I will say, if it is a cat, they do eat fish, and the next, they do await, Team Fish Taco does await them, so
right.
Maybe we're going to shift it into good territory, who knows?
Friends, we are drifting. There's
a lot of things that just happened.
Flower might have meant something different yesterday.
Nope. I'm pulling this boat back to shore right now. I'm gonna ask the question this time, and I'm gonna have you guys both answer based off your own interpretations. Going into this game 2, the hero or the standout, who needs to be stepping up for Last Dance to close this out, or for Supernova to take this to a game 3. This is gonna be up to your interpretation. But what can we expect? Who's gonna be the hero?
Oh, that's NXI for me, baby. It's Weapon X. You know why? Ocean, I think River. Danger, I think look out for him. And Dog, I think he's got that dog in him. Easy. Grapes, what do you got?
I think for Supernova to come back, kind of tying things back from before, it has to be Dragoon, because there's kind of an ocean for him to cross to make it into that next stage. And you gotta put a danger sign around him when he pulls out his dog champs like Darius.
Yes. Yeah. Bust out the Alawi.
All right. Also, Grapes, I'm liking your interpretations of the card. Honestly, you might have a future in this, but we'll have to see for our teams.
I always get flamed by Sierra. Don't feel special. Just gonna throw that out there.
I can read minds. I can predict what's gonna happen here, and I think we're gonna go to draft soon. That's my prediction.
That's your prediction? Well, you're correct. So we're gonna go ahead and send to our draft and see maybe if you can predict, as I send you guys over, if we are gonna see that game 3.
I predict Last Dance going to be on blue side. Yes, I got it. I definitely did not see the preview before. Thank you very much, Sierra, for that Rally Cry halftime show. And we're headed in to picks and bans once again. Cubby, this could be the last time we see Supernova in this spring split, unless they pull something together down 1-0.
I gotta say, I mean, the last game was winnable for them. I feel like there were angles and fights where Supernova was actually able to, find things that went well. I think if anything, maybe just take away Kragus. Kragus is such a neutralizing pick. It's a 3-way flux. It's really tough to have on blue side. It would force maybe a Zaya Rakan trade, which maybe Supernova doesn't want. I mean, they will know now that if they do let through Gragas, they could get Xayah plus Rakan. I feel like that's the first decision that we're going to see Supernova make, if they want to have that opening or not. I don't love giving away Gragas in the Xayah Rakan, because I feel like Xayah Rakan, they had limitations that the Last Dance were able to punish. Like Jarvan Syndra is very good into both of those picks. And I think it was piloted pretty well by the Last Dance. So I would change the opening if I was Supernova, but I could see them, opting to keep that the same, just to have some priority in a lane. Xayah Rakan is a strong duo.
And I definitely understand why Last Dance decides to first pick this Gragas. I think that's been what they've done for each of the 3 games they played in the promotion tournament. They just want to make sure that Bajani is on some champion that is able to at least provide some value. And we saw Maryville really take advantage of that Gragas B1 because they had a player like Niles on the team. And really, that matchup, they were able to exploit the top side of the map. I want to see that a little bit out of Dragoon this time around. He's somebody who can whip out these counter picks. Of course, champions like the Alawi and the Darius are normally good into tanks. If we know that the Gragas is going to come through early, maybe Dragoon can punish here in a counter matchup.
I think that Wukong ban is nice. You can still find Vi in the back half here and have a similar like Xayah Rakan plus Vi execute. But the Lee Sin, they aren't changing that for Gragas at all. So I expect to see Gragas taken. The only other option I could see is maybe just taking Rakan 1 pick. But with that Blitzcrank, yeah, I don't think that we're going to see that. Because the Blitzcrank ban means that you feel a little bit better about going Jinx Thresh. If that is the option here for the Last Dance. And again, I think that core was fine for them. Supernova did end up, I think, coming back in the mid game, but then ultimately like losing the game off that dragon fight. So I think the Last Dance is just going to keep things the same. Not surprised from them as Supernova. I could see this trade. I just think they cannot allow that Jarvan Syndra into the Annie. They can't allow for that to happen again if they want to make sure this Xayah is going to be set up for success later.
Yeah, NXI was a huge piece of Last Dance taking that game. And I think a lot of it was around the Jarvan and around the Syndra winning that mid jungle 2v2 to an extent, and being able to put NXI like around the map in advantageous situations. And it seems like Supernova does not think it's the Xayah Rakan that was the problem in that first game, and are going to continue to match that up against the Gragas. But as you said, Cubby, if you're the Last Dance, why not just pick the Jinx Thresh once again?
I mean, you have the range, and now you can play off the resets, and you still have the flexibility with the Gragas to keep it all 3 ways. So I always like slamming bot lane after you pick Gragas, but this is where we could see things change. Of course, it was Viego. It was taken away from Kisno in the last game. Now Viego is available. It's Wukong taken away instead. I know from talking with some of the other OQ casters that they really felt like Kisno's best champion was Viego Grapes.
Didn't do super well in it record-wise, but really looked like he was able to at least be a little bit more proactive with that champion in his arms. And so I'm excited to see if it's different than, of course, the look that we got out of him, and especially now that Jarvan was taken away, because we saw it have such a big impact. And I think those were the 2 pieces that worked well for the Last Dance, that Jarvan and the Syndra now taken away from messages. I
gotta say though, like something like if they do take the Annie here with the Viego, something like Jace becomes really appealing. Once again, you have that poke into the Xayah plus the Annie. It could be really big. I actually really like the Ahri ban instead of taking away Annie, because I think that Ahri Viego gives you some of that flexibility. I think with the Gragas showing, you don't want to go like Gragas plus the Blanc. It's a little bit magic damage heavy. So curious to see what the answer is now for messages. Something like a Victor is still available. I think that Victor pairs up pretty well with what's showing right now and would play okay in the Xayah. But it would mean that, again, you are ceding that early game priority over to the side of Supernova.
Maybe it's a jungle pickup here on 4. Of course, they already see the opposing mid-jungle duo for Supernova. It will be messages on the Lissandra.
Graves now?
This was something that we saw from him a little bit, especially towards the end of the OQ run that Native had. And now, of course, this buffed up Graves for NXI. We can see that he is really taking the role of that main character here in Game 2.
NXI, I mean, this is all about NXI. Again, you're picking Lissandra into Annie. You have a Graves. This Graves can get up in the face of the Viego and the Annie, so we'll see what NXI, how he wants to set up the map, because he will have level 1 options available to him, whereas we actually get a specialty pick from Dragoon. Yeah. I don't know if this one was listed on your sheet or not, Graves, but he's always been a Mordekaiser player, and honestly, there's a lot of value for Mordekaiser in this game.
Yeah, I only wanted to put 3 champions on the list, so I had to kind of decide whether it was like the Gangplank, which is most played, but maybe not as much of a pocket pick, or the Mordekaiser, which of course is something that he's very, very familiar on, especially over the last couple of years.
Yeah, so the tank, I assume it's going to be the magic damage Gragas now and not tank Gragas.
Yeah.
But Mordekaiser, I think taking away something like Lissandra could be really big. She brings so much utility, doesn't have a lot of damage, and Mordekaiser can kind of feast on Lissandra in that death realm. Of course, she can buy time with the ultimate, but if you do it afterwards, it's not too bad. So something to look out for here on the side of Supernova, where Dragoon decides to drop those death realms, as it could be very valuable.
Looks like it's going to be a fun one here. Last Dance.
Always.
Trying to close out their first series of the 2023 Spring Split. And Supernova, on the other hand, of course, the quote-unquote heart of amateur, even though we don't call it amateur anymore, really looking to at least show some fight against a representative that they thought might have been a bit vulnerable here in the lower bracket.
You know, Grapes, you flatter me by using phrases that I've used in the past on this cast.
Oh, I learned from the best.
Not necessary. Not necessary, you know, but I will say, it's not like I'm not a fan, right? As ended up being some cool posters. We had a do-or-die match way back. It was Supernova versus Maryville. I believe it was the Heart of Amateur versus the Kings of Collegiate.
Yep.
It was a pretty fun match we had. What was that? Back in the Strompist era of Supernova?
Yeah, 2021 summer, I think it was.
Yeah, it was to decide the last team to go to Proving Grounds. That was a lot of fun, as Supernova has been around for so long. A lot of pros have gone through here. A tactical, even Wallflower, iconic before he was promoted. He got through yesterday as well. Definitely one of the long-standing orgs that we've had, and always good to see them compete again. As we'll see if they earn the chance to compete for Game 3 here. They're going to need something here in Game 2.
You mentioned, of course, that do-or-die elimination match between Supernova and Maryville. On the other side of the bracket, it was Golden Guardians Academy versus Dignitas Mirage, who had Dragoon on it. They unfortunately dropped that series, but kind of cool to see those paths converging a little bit here, as Supernova now is the home of Dragoon, as both of them looking to right the wrongs of those years in the past.
I miss my amateur, nostalgia tours, or, history lessons, one might say. It's been a while, but good to see, as we do have that Jinx Thresh finding a little bit of early priority in the bot lane, and also Viego a little bit ahead on the clear, as there was a leash received for Kizno. Will be mirrored clears that we have so far, so Jungler's not on the same side. And I think the real answer is, what does NXI do after these Raptors? Does he opt to actually vertical jungle and go invade? Because he does have mid plus bot priority, as Kizno's now spotted. Messages. Nice.
Just barely getting away there with that frozen claw.
Yeah, here's NXI.
You gotta now look to see how these junglers end up matching up. NXI looking around the mid lane. Kizno, he trying for a wraparound as well. I don't know if he knows that NXI is in this bush.
Well, they know now, and this is bad for Kizno.
We get a little bit ugly here. They're going to just go commit hard onto messages. Still has a flash, but going to be ticking down. First blood picked up for Onat. Supernova will strike first, but can NXI clean this up in the 2v1? Kizno has to get behind the minions to make sure that those shotguns do not go into his back. And Supernova escape with the kill, but Sketch and Aaron now roaming around as well. They might try to go for a trade with this mid wave crashing in.
They're going to try and keep Onat here, as, this is very doable to find the Annie. Of course, Flash was burned.
Yeah, Sket's going to use that play. It's all too easy. Who do they give the kill to? Of course, it is NXI. Gets a little bit of extra gold and will go for a nice reset after that play.
Yeah, he's going to take the top crab before he does end up resetting, but at least the Last Dance able to answer back. I will say, that's a very heavy investment sending Aaron up here as well. He's going to lose a little bit bot, so I like the play from the Last Dance. I do think they overcommitted. They only needed to send Sketch up. Aaron's actually popping Ghost to try and get back to lane and catch these creeps, but a lot of them are going to die to the wayside as he loses about half the wave, and a plate goes over to the side of Supernova. So I think that opening is still pretty good for Supernova.
They're up 600 gold. That's a good start for them. Of course, that mid jungle, it was Onat really, again, being the one to press that go button to pick up that first blood. And now some more fighting here in the bottom lane as well. Azog and Aaron duking it out a little bit. It is the Supernova bot half getting the better end of that trade.
And I look at the lane right now for Supernova. Azog is still sitting on all three pots. You have Rakan sustain as well from that Q. Supernova can keep the wave at this state and be A-okay. So I actually like how Azog and Chookies did stay there. as there was no base available for Aaron. And now it really is on NXI to try and help out his bot lane to reset things. Because if this lane is allowed to be play out from this state, it will be hard winning for Supernova until resets are found. And the Last Dance will never be able to get wave pressure with where things are at the moment.
Still, we're looking for Kizno to be the one to continue to make these plays. Another stun in onto messages, and still does not have that flash. Has to run to the support of his jungler NXI. So this time, the mid jungle of Supernova being the ones to actually have that extra priority here.
And I like this from Kizno as well, boy.
Oh my gosh, the Blade Caller out of Azog, just one-shotting Aaron. Had the flash, didn't have time to use it though.
Well done by the side of Supernova, as this lead is growing now. Grapes is, I really like what Kizno's doing, just kind of playing in between bot and mid. He knows that there is no flash for Onat, so he kind of has to cover, but also, as we talked about with that bot lane, Xayah, Rakan at that lane state, they were hard winning until a reset came through. Well, there was no reset able to be found by the Last Dance. Instead, it's just going to be a gray screen that gets Aaron back to base, and this Xayah is going to be really big now when she gets back out of base on this wave.
Oh, nice. That's the Xayah Rakan benefit right there. The synchronized backs allow for Sketch's death sentence to not connect. And a whole pickaxe plus Noon Quiver available now for Azog versus just the Berserker's Greaves of Aaron. So in terms of 2v2 power, it's definitely that lovers pair is going to come out on top.
And that's massive. I really want to see Kizno take the Krog, sprint bot, try and get this dragon. Because the bot priority that Azog and Chookies are going to have, this is still a comp for Supernova. You have Annie, Xayah, Rakan, Viego. You need to get ahead, start snowballing forward. There is a lead for Supernova at the moment. I want to see how they can use this lead, though, Grapes. It's something that we see a lot of qualifiers teams sometimes struggle with that are not named Maryville. Like how hard you can snowball a lead. This is a great test now for Supernova. If you want to compete in the Challengers League, you want to qualify, you have to take a lead like this and snowball it. Not just because it's a do-or-die game for them, but this is a really big lead for Supernova at this point. I want to see what they can do with this.
And we see a back coming out from messages, and with Kizno around the bot side sprinting towards that dragon, it allows for Onat to get another wave under the tower and to match with the rest of the team. I am almost certain that this dragon will go the way of Supernova with NXI on the other side of the map.
This is good, and I like the timing of it too, because it will allow for Kizno and Supernova to try and contest that Rift Herald if they so choose. As we can see on the top side, our camera hasn't been up there too much, but it is an even lane at the moment for Dragoon. And it is going to be that magic damage Gragas. Now, Dragoon with that Death Realm, it's very powerful around that first dragon fight as Supernova does want to look. And with all the rest of the strength that Supernova has, I mean, if they really want that Herald, just rotate Azog up there. He is so fed on the Xayah. Wherever the Xayah is, you will be winning on the map.
Saw that little shuffle forward from Onat, just threatening messages a little bit as Kizno rotates to that top side of the map. Herald spawning in just 10 seconds. And with Dragoon having that ultimate available, just lock out one of those big carries and really make things difficult for the Last Dance around that objective. We'll see if Kizno is able to rotate well. Azog is getting pushed in as Chookies has made a rotation towards mid, but it still will be Supernova to start up the objective.
XI is about to be spotted bot here. He just walked over a ward in that Tribe Rush, so it's now going to be a trade. Last Dance and Supernova, they both know it. Azog, he has to head for the hills. He's going to try and catch this wave, but he has all subs available. This is not an easy ask, though.
3 members versus 1. Can Azog find the avoidance of a dive as the Rift Herald gets picked up by Kizno? Actually, it looks like the answer is yes, as Chookies trying his best to make his way back towards his marksman partner. Tipper's going to come out from Onat as well just to get a little bit of extra pressure. Supernova playing a really clean early game so far.
And it really is all off of that response from the Last Dance to that mid play. Again, Sketch plus Aaron, they're the ones that walked up and found that kill onto Onat, but Supernova, they took that bot lane lead and really ran with it. So again, seeing good things out of Azog and Chookies as Onat.
Yeah, might have walked a little bit too far forward, maybe too confident with his lead. Collateral damage not going to come out. Instead, it's just the end of the line with a nice hook from Sketch to secure the kill.
That sends into end of the line. That's the end of Annie, as Onat will have the TP to get back to lane, but it still is a lead for Supernova. Second plate's about to go over to Azog, and now point bot.
Knock up onto Aaron, has to use a flash, but just so dead. Azog picks up the kill as a teleport comes in. It will be messages and Sketch to try and catch out any stragglers here. Chookies on the wrong side of the map, but he's going to make it difficult to clean this one up. It might just be a attempt at an execute angle, or at least securing the kill only to Sketch.
Okay. That's A-okay, honestly, for the side of Supernova, as it does only go over to the Thresh, and they found the real win, which is taking Jinx off the map again.
And a Summoner Spell as well, right? And the teleport coming out for messages is big. Of course, won't be up if another fight erupts around that second Drake. Supernova really having control right now. Azog and Chookies, this is their strength. That laning phase on this Xayah Rakan pairing. It didn't necessarily work out for them in game number 1, but when they were given these resources, they've really been able to capitalize.
All eyes have to be on NXI now. He had the big game 1. He is the one member, look at that Mythic already finished up on the Graves. NXI is really the one point of power on the map here for Supernova. Just going to have to see what he can do, what he can get done. As on the flip side, props to Azog, as he is ahead in this match, as you pointed out, and he's about to be fed even more plates as Kizno has walked down bot, and this is looking to be a first brick here for the side of Supernova.
Wonder if they will hard commit for the entirety of this first tower.
Yeah.
Only one plate left, but Message is headed down as well. Last Dance want to make sure that it is not uncontested. The Rift Herald goes down, and with Aaron getting a bit excited, it allows for Supernova to have to back away. Now 1v2 has opened up. Dragoon will have to use that Death Drum onto NXI, but he has those Mercury Treads. That's not going to do a whole lot against the Graves. Does have the shield to buy some time, but it is NXI going on a killing spree.
NXI was trying to hold the ult, but ended up burning the collateral damage, just not get comboed. I think that's fine from him as a good roam from NXI. They answer on the other side of the map as traps here from Chookies, but everything's been burned.
No flash onto Sketch, gonna get knocked up at the grand entrance, and Chookies will be the one to secure the kill. Bot lane domination this game for Supernova as they will pick up first brick.
It's small, but I really like how Chookies waited out the Aftershock to cast that grand entrance, as both him and Azog were able to make sure that that full damage could connect. Avoid the bonus resistances from that. That's a really small thing from our OQ team that I really like to see as Supernova. Hey, Grapes, we're setting up, but they want to move on to this tournament. Yes, they have to win this game, but also you have to prove that you are a team that can snowball leads, the likes of which Supernova has seen in this first game. This is a huge lead for Azog still on the Xayah, and props to Supernova for turning that into first brick.
It kind of just goes to show how powerful of a duo this bot lane really has been. Azog and Chookies, they played together in Collegiate a couple years ago on Grandview, in addition to their time now on Supernova. So they've been together, they've had their fair share of experiences with each other, and it's showing right here.
It was love, then it was war, as this is the bot lane matchup for top 4 C-Law.
Yeah.
As UST took down Maryville, and what I felt like was the true finals. Now it's love again, as unfortunately for Dragoon, it's a little bit of war on the top side. Nice side
Look
step,
at the
though.
damage!
No death. He's got no death realm, but Mordekaiser, if you get in melee range, you can do a lot. And Dragoon able to survive there.
I mean, taking Sketch and NXI to half health with that massive shield off of the W. Dragoon really is going to be a problem, especially when we get to these fights where Last Dance kind of need to play as a unit. If Dragoon is able to get the Death Realm onto somebody like Messages, as you alluded to in draft, or even a big carry like NXI or Aaron, it can really disrupt things for this blue side team.
Even just taking NXI out of the fight could be worth it at this point, just given all the gold that he has. And if you look at the economy, Supernova feels pretty good about everything else. Speaking of economy, a little bit of Dragon economy there, as Kizno able to secure that one. A little bit of threat from Bajani, but well played from Kizno, who I think has been having, I'd say, the best game we've seen from Kizno yet so far in this tournament. Good to see that. I mean, we've been asking for NXI to step up at the Last Dance when I have a chance, because we feel like Kizno's a weaker member, and Kizno stepping up here is big. So yeah, we're just gonna ignore this. This is gonna be a dead Annie.
Oh, there's a stopwatch. Message is actually very low. Here comes Dragoon. He's going to flash forward with the Obliterate and take down Messages. Supernova punish the dive, and they're not done yet. Chookies has the quickness, looking for an angle. Nice usage of the flash of Sketch to keep Last Dance alive.
Chookies didn't have the preemptive flash available. I feel like if Kizno was maybe able to flash stun, they were a guaranteed kill on another, but not the case. Supernova not able to find the execute. They do get a few more flashes out, as Sketch did have to dodge out. But good stopwatch coming out of Onat. Hey, you know, the scoreboard was down for a little bit. I didn't see that one. I thought that was a dead Annie for sure, but she goes golden and everything's okay, and Supernova, they're going to get a lot more.
Yeah, they rotate Azog now up to mid lane. Gonna crack open another turret. This Xayah is just so fed. Working towards the quick blades before Aaron has even completed his mythic item. Not going to be at it just yet, but just another couple of waves. We'll get him 2 items maybe before 15, 16 minutes.
And if you look at the comp too for the Last Dance, like, yeah, the Jinx, Thresh, Gragas, you can play fights though, and dodge out on the Xayah, but you still have this Lissandra Graves that they want to go in, and I mean, that's the Xayah comfort zone, right? Everyone getting in range of the feathers for that big rip. I think that Azog is so far ahead too, where he's just set up for a lot of success in this one. As we see him, he popped a biscuit. That next base he has, that's going to be a very early Navori quick blades. But at the moment, Azog was not able to get back to base. Instead, he took the Wolves. Now he's going to have to take the mid wave. In the last dance, they do have 5 on this Rift Herald. And it looks like Supernova is going to respect that, give it away.
They're looking around for an angle, potentially. Dragoon does have the Death Realm. Getting onto NXI would get the flash out of the equation, but they already find the hook onto Chookies, and that is the first kill going the way of Bijani. A huge drag back, though, out of Dragoon, and Supernova are the ones pushing forward. Kisno with a huge engage off of the stolen Gragas body as Messages the lone survivor in the fight. Kisno flashes forwards, the one who started it all, and an ace comes through for our 8th seed.
Oh, they don't even get the eye either. As NXI, you can see he wasn't quite able to get back there. We're going to get a replay. Yes, Chookies goes down first, but look at the re-engage coming out from Onat here, Grapes, as this Annie found 3 in the back half. Azog's not touched. It's a nice dodge to the barrel, but Onat, the flash W to find 3. That's what really cleaned up the rest of the fight. Set up for Kisno to find that double body slam on the reset, as Kisno and Onat, we were talking about Supernova. We felt like if they were going to win, they have to win on sides. They did win the sides in this game, but the reason Supernova is winning so hard is because Kisno and Onat have really stepped up in this one.
And that's kind of been the story of Supernova. Of course, when Hyper was on this team to start off the split, it was a really easy formula to have the side lanes winning and have Onat follow Hyper around, somebody who is really able to control the pace of the game. With the substitution coming in, we haven't seen that as much from this team. Of course, they made the semifinals in the first qualifier, only made quarters in the second, but we really are now finding looks where Kisno and Onat look a lot better, and we can see the growth out of these 2 rookie players.
Really nice to see, especially, I mean, I know from talking with you and the other OQ casters again, they're like, yeah, like, we don't feel that confident in Kisno, but we feel the most confident in him when he's on Viego. And this game has been a really good look for Kisno, pairing up with the Annie of Onat again, where I think the angles have been pretty sound for the side of Supernova. You're about to have double Rywise Crystal Scepter too, so the last dance, I mean, a lot of that range poke can be negated, and make sure that Supernova can continue to chase with the Rywise. When you factor in the fact that Xayah's up an entire Navori Quick Blades on the opponent marksman, that's a pretty winning formula again here for Supernova.
6,000 gold at 17 minutes. I mean, I know personally, as somebody who did come from the qualifiers, did not have the most faith in Supernova entering, especially with, of course, some of the roster instability that they suffered from, and only making the quarterfinals when there were other teams that did not make it into this tournament that performed better than them in the last tournament. But they're really coming together here against the Last Dance, a team that was in the NACL for 2023.
I mean, what better time than now, right?
Yeah.
It's now or never. So the fact that Supernova, again, are finding this, I think that this is kind of some payoff for them sticking with that Xayah Rakan. It has been much better this game. So it is good to see Supernova. We feel like they're sticking with their strategy, and they made it work this game. So the Last Dance, I mean, they're going to be the ones that have to make adaptations going into this game 3. If we do get there, as topside, we're not going to force the Ghost out of Aaron, who did take the objective bounty, cutting into the gold lead a little bit, but that inner taken by the side of Supernova, kind of matching what we have at the moment.
Yeah, and with Supernova taking the tower on the bot side of the map, giving them some more, space to pick up this 3rd dragon. Mountain Soul Point now for our 8th seed, our 4th seed out of the quals.
And I got to say that I think Mountain's the best draw here for Supernova. Just preventing any Jinx resets. I feel like that's the one way that they can lose. Not to mention you're trying to get Viego resets. Okay. Okay.
This is a bit of a sticky spot. Bijani missed the body slam, but landed the ultimate and the Everfrost. Onat does not have flash, but just gonna walk his way out of there. That was weird.
Good enough, as not much action going on the rest of the map. You have Messages cleaning up a wave, and again, I think the Last Dance, they don't have the damage to execute anyone. That's really, like, my issue at the moment. It feels like they have to, like, prevent Rakan engage with Lissandra, and then, like, find a big re-engage afterwards, but they just don't have the damage. Like, everyone's so far behind compared to the counterparts. I mean, look at the marksman itemization. Lissandra is down in items, and also this is a very low damage build from her. Not to mention Gragas as well. I mean, it's just all Supernova on the map right now.
And it's tough to find an angle for the Last Dance. You see NXI is 3-1-1. this is really ringing true to what we saw throughout the regular season when you know, the lanes for the Last Dance, the lanes for NXI weren't able to come through. It's really tough for somebody, especially on a champion like the Graves, to really show that he's worthy of taking this team and taking this 2-0 here.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, does have a bit of a lead at the moment. NXI, it's going to be on him to cash in. I think Cleaver could be big. As, oh, we have a very aggressive posturing.
Oh, hook onto Azog. There's the barrel. Featherstorm does come out. He has to flash away, but now Azog is out of the fight, and the collateral damage plus the ignite takes him down. Dragoon on the other side, though, takes out messages as Kizno is now on a killing spree. Dragoon is so big. Aaron is so dead, and Sketch is the next target. Kizno picking up a double kill, and Bajani and NXI have to run for the hills. Azog goes down, but Supernova will hold the line for their bot lane.
I mean, that's a great start to the fight from the Last Dance. Best case scenario, taking down Saya like that. Props to Bajani and NXI for the find. But you can see how far behind the Last Dance are. They just don't have any other options in the elongated fight. The items aren't there. The power's not there. So even taking out the Saya first, you are not going to get a better fight, a better look than that until the game goes late.
They're still going. There's a stun. NXI has to flash away. Will the engage continue? Chookies does land that grand entrance, and NXI in a whole lot of trouble. The smoke screen buys some time. Teleport coming out. Will the Last Dance be able to find a trade? It is a 2v4 with Messages and Bajani looking for an opportunity. Azog has respawned, has rejoined his team, and Bajani looks a little bit dead right now, has to use the body slam to get away, but Supernova do not care. They still have the numbers advantage, and with NXI down, they can do whatever they want across the map.
Honestly, I really don't want to see Supernova start Baron. I know that they have the advantage. I don't think they have to. I feel like they can just play for the Dragon. They are going to do it anyway. There is no spine on the map for the Last Dance. There is a TP. This is a little bit scary for Jinx resets. Onat doesn't have flash, so Aaron should be safe. As, oh, that's a nice find.
Dragoon has to be a little bit careful. The shield's gonna keep him alive. Kizno picked up the first reset, and now Onat coming forward as well. Another dive into the backline as our rookie jungler is showing up in the moment that matters most for his team. Azog goes forward with the Featherstorm as the Viego is now dominating. Messages has to use the claw to escape, but he won't escape much distance. Azog picks up another kill, and only NXI is alive to watch Supernova take this Baron down.
Alright, I lied. The Baron start was great. I didn't want to see the take. I wanted to see the turn. And Supernova, they cashed in on that as they find everyone. Now NXI, he has no other choice but to look here. There's TP coming in behind him. He doesn't know about it yet.
Onat gonna spot out the Graves as the rest of Supernova are able to take down Baron Nashor. They'll be wearing blue for the next couple of minutes as they will look to even this series up.
I feel like they're wearing purple here. It matches the team color. They're out of this world. And I got to give some props here as this hook that is found from Kizno onto Aaron. This is what we love to see. Woo! Some flexibility here from our jungler. That's a beautiful death sentence. Any chance that Supernova had to lose that fight taken away as that death sentence marked the end of the Last Dance. And really the end of them in this game as it's now a Baroned up Supernova with this soul spawning for them. Mountain Soul, I think the best draw they could have had in this game just to prevent any opportunities of a Jinx reset. And Supernova looks to be cruising for a game 3 here, Grapes.
I mean, Kizno has just looked so good on this Viego. Yeah. What a turnaround from the first 3 games that we've seen from him in this promotion tournament. And now Supernova not even wanting to position around the Dragon. They could just go for a potential end. Kizno using that Heartbreaker forward, but Messages might have found a good angle, but now gets locked up by Chookies. The first casualty is the Lissandra as the teleport comes in from Dragoon to look to finish off game number 2.
Supernova is way too damn big. The Last Dance didn't have the damage to get into this game. This Graves, we never really saw the combo come down. I mean, Annie going Roa is a little bit tougher to take down, but we never saw Messages be able to actually get out of the mid lane in this game. Given how the rest of the map was playing Graves, it didn't really hurt any opportunity that the Last Dance had to actually snowball through their own strong mid-jungle duo.
So it is the inhibitor broken open in mid. The Dragon Soul now for Supernova. They have the Baron for another 2 or 3 waves, but I don't know if they'll be able to utilize it to take down any more structures. It's just going to be the ability for them to continue to snowball this gold lead that they do have. 10.5K, 24 minutes in.
And what a look for Supernova. Again, this is the lowest seeded team we had in the tournament. As you pointed out, Grapes, a team that didn't even make it as far in the second OQ as some of the teams that didn't make it into this tournament. But again, Supernova showing up at the right time, and that sub-jungler Kisno really stepping up big, as this is going to be the finishing touches of the game.
Look onto Dragoon. Last Dance needs to hard commit onto one member to try and reset Aaron, get the Jinx excited. Inhibitor in the bot lane, about to go down. Let's see if they try to close out this objective. It looks like they will. 2 inhibitors are now cracked open for Supernova as they'll take their resets with a very successful Rally Cry Baron.
Yeah, one more wave of Baron for the side of Supernova. We're going to use that to make sure they get back into base. And again, Supernova, very clean game. If you are just joining us from the LEC, welcome to NACL. We got our promo relegation tournament going on right now. It is win or go home for the side of Supernova, and both of our teams here in this best of 3 still fighting for the chance to make it into the North American Challengers League, the circuit for the Summer Grapes. And Supernova in the do-or-die position has really stepped up big in this one.
Yeah, they know their backs are up against the wall. It's only one more loss and their season is over. And it looks like they definitely are understanding of that situation. They have really taken a hold of this game. They had their mid-jungle duo, the rookies Kisdom and Onat, show up in a huge way, as only the top lane structures stand in their way to sending us to a game 3.
I think it's safe to say they clutched the hell up. It's good to see from our OQ friends here at Supernova as a team that really, I mean, oh, hold on. They might have our last fight here. Shookies does get out.
Ooh, hook onto Onat. Very tanky though with the Roa and the Rylai's. Another hook though. Sketch really being a nuisance as Supernova wait for one last wave to try and crack open this inhibitor tower.
You can just wait for supers to roll on into. Is look at the bot lane. They have double supers about to be stacked here. Last dance. Do they fight now? Do they fight at the Nexus turrets? Is
Oh, 4-person cask. That could be a big engage, but Supernova still look like they're comfortable to continue the push, continue the fight. Or need to see something out of messages. When will the trigger be pulled? The third inhibitor is sure to go down unless Last Dance finds something right away. It looks like they will seed it. Only the Nexus Tower stand in Supernova's way. Last Dance needs something, but they might have caught their mid laner out. Frozen Claw backwards, and that is a kill. Go in the way of Azog. Hook going on to Dragoon, but that's not going to matter a whole lot as Azog goes forward in the fight. Everyone flashing forward and taking the game away from the Last Dance. One last matchup. Winner goes home. Moves on. Loser goes home. We're headed to game 3 between Last Dance and Supernova, Cubby.
Supernova, they kept the same formula at the start of draft by opening with that Xayah Rakan. This time around, it pays off, as I think that early game, it was Jinx Thresh that dropped that wave to go find the gank, the answer onto Onat mid. And the lead that Supernova was able to take, not only was it Xayah Rakan getting ahead a wave or two, they turned that into a kill. They turned that into a first turret. They turned that into an entire Navori Quick Blades over the enemy marksman. Textbook from Supernova as they utilize that strong mid-jungle duo to snowball bot and to win that game in a very sound fashion.
And what a huge step up once again for Kisno and for Onat. These two players that we really needed to see have a great series against the Last Dance, and they had a great game number 2, and they're going to have to snowball that into a great game 3. If you are joining us from Europe, just setting the stakes once again, the loser of this series will not be competing in the LCS Challengers League come summer. We're going to take a break before we head over to our Rally Cry halftime show with Sierra.